Jeff can't hear you, Jeff.
Of course, I can't hear you
There you
either.
are. There you go. Now you're on. Hey,
So I
everybody.
have
How
no
you
idea if
doing?
I'm on or you're on, but I can't hear you at all, Ken. So I'm going to jump off and come back on. And then if you're having problems, you can jump off and come back on.
All right, man. I can hear you. That's fine. Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Um, we got a great guest. Georges Jeanty is joining us. He'll be on in 1 second. Just going to wait for Jeff to pop back on. Hope everybody's having a good Monday out there. We have some news. We're going to pop up at some point tonight too. Some things are going on with 4C. Some new offerings we're going to be having. We'll probably talk a little bit about MegaCon, things like that. So real quick, I just want to go over the rules. All right. So we use the live claim system. Not Jeff's here.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
And I can hear you, which is great. So how's everybody doing tonight? I see you were going over the rules.
Yes. Going over the rules. Yep.
Excellent. How far did you get? Let's see.
I didn't even start.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, once again, we are a live claim sketch show. Tonight we have a wonderful guest. I can't wait to introduce him in a second. But remember how this works is we put the claim banner up. You make your claim. First person to get the claim gets the sketch. And he's going to draw your character, whatever character you'd like, live on camera. Yeah, it's all for you. So we do... sorry, it's been a while since I feel like I've done one of these, and it really only been like a week. I don't think we did the rules last week. I think we just went right into it. Yeah, if there's multiple claims, like more than 3, we'll do a wheel spin rather than just going for whoever claims first, because we don't want the claim to go to the person with the fastest internet. It's really not fair when somebody's internet's a little laggy. So we'll do it that way to make it a little more fair to everybody, so everybody has a chance to get a sketch. But that's only if there's a whole lot of people that are on that jump for that sketch. And as Ken has added on here, if you email 4ccomics at gmail.com and give us your information, or you can just do it on Facebook so that we have your information so we can send you an invoice afterwards. It makes it so much easier on all of us. And yeah, sorry, these are new rules, Ken. I haven't read these yet. I haven't memorized them. If you make claim, yeah, if you make claim, you do have 7 days to pay for your claim. Or you won't be able to claim on future shows. So yes, once you pick something, please pay. That kind of goes hand in hand.
Exactly. So let's bring in Georges.
Exactly. So wonderful, everybody. Welcome, Georges Jeanty. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, how are you guys? Nice to see you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. We're so glad to have you. I can't wait to dig in and talk to you about some Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because I love some Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, you do?
That's one of the books I do.
I hope that's not just lip service.
It is not, and I can prove it because I actually have a sketchbook here, and it's all Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This was done by Cliff Chung. So I'm gonna have to. I got more in here. I'll show them off as the show goes on, but I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get you to add to this, because I need you in this book.
Please do. Yeah. It's funny. The only other person I know who has a Buffy sketchbook, so unlikely too, is oh God, why can't I think of his name? I swear, COVID has just gotten rid of all that useless information we all seem to have had for so long. Oh, he is a voice actor. I cannot believe I don't remember his name. He does he's done Family Guy. He's done.
Man. I'm trying to think of, it could be anybody. Not Seth. It's not the main guy. Not Seth MacFarlane.
No. He's more of a guest star when he does it. He was on a sketch show called not Fridays, but Mad TV.
Okay.
Oh God!
Is he black, or is he the bigger fat white guy, or that guy? Yeah, I think he's actually done voices for like Futurama.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. Yeah. Help me.
I can't think of his name either.
I can't remember his name. This COVID.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. He's incredibly
anyway, I
talented.
say that because he's also got a full Buffy sketchbook as well, with nothing but Buffy sketches. Yeah. So he was really happy to get me one time at a show.
That's awesome.
And oh God, it's gonna hurt that I can't remember his name right now.
We'll have to. Well, I'll sneak off and Google it while when I have a second, and well, that way you'll be. I'll say like the first letter, and you'll just get it just like that. That's how it always works.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
Yeah. I've told Ken the story behind the Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Is I went to college at a town that didn't have a CW station, so the NBC station would put those shows on at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was a poor college kid. I had a TV with, rabbit ears. And I had 4 channels. I could either watch NBC, ABC, CBS, or Fox. So to have something so I was like, so I'm tuning it on. Saturday Night Live ends, and all of a sudden here's, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm like, well, there's nothing else to watch. I'll watch this, and I was immediately hooked, and I became an addict after that.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
Did you pick up any of the books?
I kind of I think I skipped through a couple of them. Especially your season, which is the season that goes right after the Buffy season ended. But I didn't even know, because I never really bought any of the comics before. I just watched the show, so I never really got it. But then when I found out there was an 8th season, I think I picked it up somewhere in the middle. So I was like, I've always been waiting to go back and actually get I want to get the entire from the beginning, so I can see exactly where it progressed, because I jumped in probably halfway in the season. I'm like, all right, I have no idea what's going on, so I had to start over.
And it's funny, Brian K. Vaughan just hit me up a couple of days ago too, asking if I had one of the pages from one of his story arcs. And I'm like, wow. That was like 10 years ago.
Right.
He's like, God, I know I should have asked for something when we were doing it together, but there was something about a building over there in Cleveland, Ohio, something that he actually included in his arc, which was about Faith, who is also from Cleveland. Or I'm sorry, was it Cleveland or Cleveland, Massachusetts? Maybe, or wherever that is. Anyway, that he was a big fan to write it, because he was from where Faith was from. So he was now trying to find if I had that page 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any of those pages left at all, or are most of them gone, or all of them gone?
I mean, I do. Well, what he was asking for was a really choice page. And, obviously when you're a collector, those choice pages, they're the first ones to go. Mm-hmm. I've got a lot of supplemental pages, sure. Right. But yeah, those good ones, man. For any of you art collectors out there, if you really see that hot page, you get it now before paying for it later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, now the problem is if anybody who wants original art now is paying for it now at those later prices, because everything's kind of gone through the roof, but
man, I hear so many John Byrne stories about that with the X-Men. Oh my God.
Yeah, I had a friend actually who owned a whole bunch of those Uncanny X-Men Byrne pages back in the 90s, and he sold them for a significant amount of money, more than he bought them for, but he sold them in the early 2000s. So then, the amount of money they're worth now is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
But we'll get into all that. But first, Ken, who got the claim for George's here?
Ryan. So we just need to know what character you want, buddy.
Ryan, hey, buddy.
Yes,
Ryan's been chomping at the bit. He as soon as I announced it, he messaged me. He was like, "Dude, I gotta get a jam."
Yeah.
So he's pumped up right now.
So what is the character?
I'm waiting for his report.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd mentioned it.
I'll give him 5 more seconds, and then I'm going to steal his spot. No, I'm just kidding. No, Ryan's a good guy. He's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So he's a frequent shopper.
Yeah, he is. He definitely takes advantage. And with the rising prices of comic art, that's why we love doing this show. Oh, he wants Bishop with dreads.
Oh, sweet. Wow, that is so weird. I don't know why there's such a resurgence. I've actually been doing a few commissions of Bishop recently. And this is a title I did 20 years ago. So I think that's really weird.
He's a huge X-Men fan, so I'm sure that that probably plays into it too.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But Ryan's, man, when he found out we were getting you, man, Ryan was just like, oh, I can't believe it. He knew exactly what he wanted to get. We probably should have already known the answer to this question.
I did have enough foresight. I had enough foresight to keep some of those pages, actually, because I was also into Bishop when I was younger. So when I actually got the book, it's like, oh my God, this is a character I really like. I don't normally keep pages for myself, but I did keep those pages. And around that time, funny enough, Carl Story, who's an inker, of course, extraordinaire, and we're working on a Star Wars book right now. I think that was one of the first things he ever inked that I did. And he did the covers, I should say. And I was just so elated that I actually got Carl Story to ink something that I had drawn, that I ended up keeping a lot of it. And everyone's like, oh my God, you could be selling this. I was like, yeah, but look, Carl is actually the inker on this. When am I ever going to get him again?
Right.
We've been working together now for like 20 years off and on.
Oh yeah, I love Carl's work. I've actually gotten him to ink a few pieces for me because I think his stuff is just so spectacular. He puts so much detail and such little finesse on his lines. Yeah, he's
every
great.
time I go over to his place, I see him. He's working on those Star Wars covers with Chris Sprouse right now, and they're doing recreations of episode 4, 5, and 6. And I mean, needless to say, they're beautiful.
Oh wow, I gotta see that stuff. Yeah, I used to. Once again, Chris Sprouse is another one of those guys I used to hang out with way back in the day. See, I'm an old collector. I've been doing this since I was like 15, back in like 1990 or 1980 or whatever. So those guys, man. I remember when everybody was coming up, and I remember going to Heroes Con back in 1993 and getting to talk to Carl Story, and those times were great, man. Those are some awesome artists. I'm glad that they're still around.
And that's so weird. We've never crossed paths.
Yeah. I kind of dropped out for a while. I was in comics for till I dropped out from like 1994 till truly about 2010. I kind of, I went, so I was really big until I went into college, and then everything just life kind of took over, and I just went another way. And then all it took was going to one convention back in 2010. And that's it. I got one sketch and I was back in just all over again. So
yeah, I think I started in 94, 95. So yeah, I guess we would have missed each other at that point.
Exactly. Ships in the night.
Yeah. Oh man.
Awesome. Well, let's see how everybody's doing out here in the chat. Let me acknowledge some people here. I see
Ryan said the cover to Gambit 25 was his first tattoo.
Wow.
So this is.
Oh, he's got a tattoo. Oh man, tell him to send me that. I would love to see that.
I actually asked if he wanted to come on. So hold on, I'm going to send him a link. He's going to pop on.
There you go.
That was a great book. I really it was just unfortunate that Marvel was canceling things that didn't reach a certain number sales. Right. And unfortunately that book fell below that. But man, I love that book. It was just so much fun to draw, and I thought he was such a great character that I would have stayed with it for as long as it was out. But it was all too brief.
Right. Wow. Oh man, yeah, but hopefully Brian will jump on and we'll get to see this tattoo firsthand.
I've seen that illustration on other things. I've just never seen it on a tattoo.
I've never seen it on a person before.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I've never seen it as a tattoo. I'm sorry. Yeah, because I've seen it sort of recreated, and some people who'll bring me up fan art will say, "Oh, I love this cover" or whatever. Will always show me that. So, but yeah, I've never seen it. And honestly, I've done a few tattoos for people over the years, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone just take something that I've done, and then, sort of went ahead and said, this is the tattoo I want.
Right. Oh, here it comes. Let's see. There he is.
Right.
Mr. Jablonski, right?
Hey, Jebo.
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
We're doing good.
How all you guys have all this artwork in your background. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. Usually you get me in the garage, but I figured out for this I'll have to put on. But no, thanks for coming on. I know I heard you start talking, and I had to leave the stream to go into the back room and stuff. But yeah, dude, that Gambit series is it's still one of my favorite series of all time.
Oh yeah, it's great. I just loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and it really illustrated who the character could be.
Yeah, and they did such a good job of actually giving. I don't know, nobody thought that he could handle a solo series, and he was more interesting, especially at the time, than even Wolverine was in those books.
Yeah, and I'm a little biased, of course, because I was drawing the book, but Steve Skroce had done the title initially when it first aired, and that was great stuff. And of course, Steve was a great artist, and all of the stuff he was doing, I loved how he handled a very nimble Gambit. But I think when I got onto the book, they really wanted to take him back to his roots. You know, he was from New Orleans, and he was less of an X-Men per se, and more of just this guy he used to be, who was, you know, this sort of scoundrel adventurer, that sort of thing. And I thought this was a really great hook to give this character, who, for the most part, you know, is just seen as this handsome guy who has a thing for Rogue. And I think the series really opened up who he was as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the books that I always tell people that it's like I call it like one of my sleeper like '90s titles. I was like, well, because
it was one of those sleeper hits.
Yeah, it's like because the people who read it, it's not a book that often gets people don't dislike it. It's like people just don't really know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now we have trades and we have the complete like stories. Like I've gone back and read it a couple times now. It's just as fun.
Well. Yeah, and I find it ironic. Well, obviously Gambit's been collected into a few books, but they've never actually collected Bishop yet. And this is a 20-year-old book, and he had almost 20 issues. And, you know, Marvel, comic companies, they'll collect anything if it's 2 or 3 issues. And I'm surprised that Bishop, the last X-Men still hasn't been collected yet.
They maybe they're holding on to it. I don't know, because that was a good book too. People,
and you know, they did that team up. Gambit. I did that Gambit Bishop team up also. It was a 4 or 5 issue mini series. I think Scott Lobdell was the writer on that. Yeah. And it was a series I haven't seen since it came out, and I only see it in individual issues.
Yeah, it's I have that one too, but it's like Gambit and Rogue are like my go-tos, but like Gambit's that was my first real OCD collection where I went through and I have every single book, all the variants, all like I have a bunch of like newsstand and then the shop ones. It's like can't stop.
Yeah. Oh, I always laugh too because there were 2 series. The initial one where Steve Skroce had started it, and that one went to 24 issues, and I came on the last issue, which is funny because in that issue it says the story starts here. Yeah. Actually, the story ends here, and then it starts with another issue. Yeah. Right. It led you to believe that, it's going to keep going on, and that was actually the last issue. So I don't know how it got another incarnation, but yeah, I think I jumped right on that afterwards. So... Go figure.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Georges, this is the gentleman.
Phil Lamar. There you go. That's him. Phil. Oh, I knew it was 1 syllable too. I'm like, his first name is 1 syllable. Phil Lamar. Yes. Sorry, Phil.
It was driving me
if
nuts.
You're watching. I am so sorry, my friend. Yes.
George wants to see the tattoo.
Oh yeah. Come on. Give up the goods.
All right, well,
whip it out.
It's on my back, so I'm gonna have to get some assistance then.
Yeah. On your back. Is it big?
This tattoo at this
and
point,
this is where the internet fails us.
It is. It's true. It's 19 years old too. So. I'm getting some help.
So are you saying there's some stretched out sagging parts of this tattoo? Is that what you're trying to say?
it needs to get touched up. So I'm gonna get my wife to hold the phone for a second.
This is a first for 4C. We've never had anybody take their shirt off live on the show. So
it's not like we haven't tried, but
Right, and his poor wife doesn't know what he's doing. So why are you taking off your clothes on cam?
I
That is exactly it.
don't know what's going on right now.
Let's see. Get in there. Get in there.
Where is it?
There's the shoulder.
Yeah, more
Let's
on
go
the
to
back. Go right.
More
on the back.
There we go.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Can we see it?
You can see the bottom of it.
Move up a little bit. Move up just a little bit. Not you.
There
The
we
camera.
go.
There you go.
There it is. Oh yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
And now
so you did a little collage there.
Yeah. We threw a face on the bottom to kind of wrap it up a little bit.
Yeah. Cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for that exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So my poor wife, she's like, "What are you having me do?"
We're not that kind of show. Tell her we're not that kind of show.
Yeah, right.
Right, that doesn't start till after 10.
Yeah, it's too early for that.
That's 4 C's after hours. Yeah, we don't have that yet.
That's fine.
Awesome.
Well,
Pretty
however
cool.
you guys want to proceed here, so I'm open to whatever you want to do now.
Well, yeah, you can start on Ryan's sketch.
If you want to, start drawing. We'll just.
Yeah, I guess I can.
And
I can. Unfortunately, I've got really low tech here, so I will have to move my. I don't know if you can pick that up.
We can see a little bit of it. We'll see how it works out.
Mm.
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
face. There's a little face on
Yeah,
there.
I'm
All right.
probably just going to have to lift it up and show it to you. That'll probably be the better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. Just leave it on your
Yeah.
face, and then just do a little bit of drawing every once in a while. Just pick it
Right,
up.
kind
That
of. Yeah,
works
do
fine.
one of those every now and again,
Yeah.
and all. Okay. Now I see. I'm going to have to invest in all of these spindle clamps and whatnot for everyone.
So
And you'll
said
forgive me if I'm not looking directly at you.
Oh no. Yeah, you got to draw. I don't think Ryan wants you to look at me while you're drawing his picture. I don't think that would be very good.
I mean, unless you want to draw Jeff, that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. No, nobody wants that drawing. Nobody wants that drawing, Ryan. No, I wanted to ask George. You said you basically were kind of coming into the business around like 94, 95 ish. What was your first professional job? What was the first thing you worked on?
Oh man, and we can get very deep here because I'm a comic fan from way back.
Mhm.
When I was a kid, I grew up. Boy, you're double fisting the Mountain Dew there.
Yeah.
I'm growing up loving comics, collecting comics, and knowing. I had a little bit of talent, so I always knew that I wanted to draw comics.
Mhm.
And in doing so, I am very happy that my career kind of evolved the way that it did, because I sort of started in the small group, and then obviously, thankfully, went up to the majors, as I like to call them.
Mhm.
And the first professional thing I did was, and you guys, if you're old school as well, you'll remember a company called Caliber Comics back in the day. They weren't necessarily doing superhero stuff as much, although when I got there, this was, like I said, around 94, and this is when Image was just everywhere. And the Image boys had divested from Marvel, and they were doing their thing with Image Comics. And Caliber wanted to do a superhero line. And the gentleman who was sort of heading that line, his name was Brent Carpenter. He's no longer with us, God rest his soul. But he wanted to do a superhero line as well. And they pegged him for the series. And one of those series I ended up doing was called Paradigm. And it's a little book. And that's the beauty. I tell people who want to become artists in this business, you don't want to start on an X-Men book at Marvel the first time you draw. You want to start on a book that nobody is ever going to bring back to you 20 years later, because I guarantee you're going to hate the way it looks, because it's something you just did and you never like the first thing you do when you start out. So This book, it was an obscure little book. I mean, it maybe had a print run of, I don't know, 2000 or something like that, but it every couple of years somebody will bring up one, and it's very nostalgic.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's crazy. So when was that? So what was the first book you did for the big two, or also even say three?
Well, at this point, yeah, it was. I mean, telling you the truth, the way my style is, I knew I would never work for Image to save my life, because I could never draw that way. And not begrudging McFarlane or Silvestri or Layfield or anybody. I just knew that my stuff never was going to look like that. So it was either Marvel, and it's funny because at that time, Marvel and DC were being very picky. I thought the only thing I would end up doing in comics professionally was working for Vertigo, because they seem to have that avant-garde style that, oh, okay, well, this is something I think I could do, as opposed to all of this flashy you know, really nice stuff. Yeah, but it was just so I was
Stylized,
really into I was very much into comics as a storytelling device, not comics as a. And it's funny. I had a very profound conversation like this with Michael Golden once because I asked him that. I asked him, why do you see so much artwork that is so much the same and not enough like comic books, like people telling stories? And he told me straight out, it's like, because people aren't doing comic books, they're doing pinups for the most part in books. And that just hit me really profoundly. And I thought, yeah, I never want to be that artist who's just doing pinups. I want to be that artist who's telling stories. I mean, you look at The Killing Joke or The Dark Knight Returns or, you know, Daredevil, any of those Mazzucchelli or Frank Miller books.
Right.
And you're reading it and those stories stick with you, you know, and that's what I wanted. I as much as I love looking at all that image stuff, I defy you guys to really tell me something that stood out to you from those books back in '94. You know, for the most part, I'm sure you could, but I think overall those books were just very pretty, but there wasn't a whole lot of substance to them. So, and please don't hate me, any of the older Image fans who are coveting their books and buying 20 of them, thinking they would be worth $200-300 right now.
Right. Yeah. No, well, like I said, I think saying they were more flash than substance. I don't think that's a statement that's really, you know, really way out there. I think that's pretty much sort of common knowledge that it was the reason why people bought their books and the reason why they were so successful was because of their stylized, you know, drawing and the fact that, you know, the colors were beautiful. They were just really pretty books. But yeah, you're right. There were no stories there. They were changing the world with.
Yeah, and I, you know, I don't begrudge them because, hey, they're made millions of dollars. So who am I to say I don't have $1 million? So who am I to tell them you guys shouldn't have been doing this? That's just not the way you should have been doing it.
Right. That's always great. Yeah. Listen, if I had been doing it, then you know.
Oh, sure.
No, but so you went with more storytelling, so you knew you were going to get stuff. Did you get anything for like Vertigo, or you went straight with like?
Oh,
Marvel
I'm sorry.
Like,
yeah, that was originally your question, and I totally. No. I'm very tangent oriented, so yeah, you're gonna have to reel me back in. But no, the first professional thing I did was Green Lantern '94. It was a dual book because Daryl Banks, who was the regular artist at the time, and this was the Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Daryl Banks, who was the regular artist, and Ron Mars, who was the writer. Ron Mars was friendly with a guy named Dave Johnson, who was another artist, and I become friendly with him and joined his studio. And around that time, Ron had just nonchalantly mentioned, "Hey, Dave, do you know anybody?" I think he was asking Dave if he could fill in for a couple of pages. And Dave's, no, I've got this. I think he was actually starting the Red Sun, Superman Red Sun at that point. He said, no, I don't, but I've got this studio mate in here. You know, you should see his work. I think he's good, and I think he's going to be really doing some good stuff. And that's how pretty much it landed. I think I did about 13 pages. Daryl did half of the book, and then I did the other half of the book. And from there, I think I did another fill-in. And then I got a 5-issue Superboy gig over there for about 5 issues. Yeah, so that was, man, I was on top. I couldn't believe I was working for DC Comics. You know, it was one of those pinch myself moments. Yeah, so it was really, really nice. And that awesome. Too, I think that's at that point, because I had worked for a lot of the independents. I had worked for London Night Studios, for Brainstorm, for Chaos, for so many little companies. Well, I hate to say little, but so many smaller companies back then. I really feel like I deserved what I got when I started working for DC. You know, it was more like, oh no, this is just you're just really lucky. And I'm like, no, actually, I think I worked for this. You know, the talent notwithstanding, I think this was something I really did work for, and I earned it. You know, and I think that's where I feel very proud of what I've done. Yeah, over the years.
Yeah. The fact that, you know, that he would tell people to look at your stuff and you had already, you know, established yourself You just hadn't gotten that, that one break yet. But it wasn't even like a break. It was just like finally somebody saw what you were doing and you'd paid your dues and you got in. That's great.
Yeah. Well, and I would hope he'd actually help me to get some work because I was paying rent at his studio. So he wanted somebody there who could actually pay money.
Right. Exactly. I don't know what that. Who's the Facebook user there, Ken?
No idea.
And just threw some up on the screen with no context. I have no idea what that comment meant. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, what?
I was gonna put it up. I was like, they're not gonna know what I'm talking about. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put it up anyway.
Oh my god.
I think he was talking about because you were talking about the image books being all splash pages.
Oh, right.
Oh,
exactly.
Jeff, as a I'm sorry, not Jeff, but Jabo, as a footnote, I actually have a friend who has all these tattoos as well. And he did something smart. He actually had somebody take pictures of them. So every time somebody wants to see his tattoo, it's actually on his phone. And he can just whip out his phone instead of taking off his shirt at a convention, which he did for so long. I think that's where he got inspired to go, you know what? Why don't I just take a picture of these damn things instead of keep taking off my shirt? And to that point, Jeff, I've got a friend. He's got a whole back tattoo of a Buffy the Vampire scene. So he's got Buffy, Cordelia, Willow, and he's got all the women in Buffy on his back. Wow. And literally, it is his whole back. I'm always amazed. And I had him take off his shirt a couple times.
Yeah, look, I like I said, I really do love Buffy. I own all the seasons on DVD. I own all the Angel series on DVD. I even have somewhere the CD in my house of the soundtrack from the musical to Buffy the Vampire Slayer because I really like that one too. But
which has a cover by Adam Hughes, actually.
It does. And that's pretty much where I draw. I don't know if I would get a Buffy tattoo on my body. I don't know if I would do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I think it'd be, listen, I've got my one tattoo here. I've only got the one, but that's it.
The Flash?
Just the Flash. Cool. That's it. I got that when I was like 19 years old. That's the only one and as soon as I got it, I know exactly why Ryan has 15,000 tattoos on his body. I was like, I want more. And I had to stop. I I have a very addictive personality, so that would not have worked out well.
You get one, you can't stop.
No, because you're like, yeah, well, exactly. You're just like, what else would look cool? You know what else would look cool? Next thing you know, you look like the guy from like The Greatest Showman, the tattoo man who's got tattoos head to toe all over the body.
Yeah. What's his name? The Human Oddity, is that his name?
Yeah, I think that's what he goes by.
Literally 90 some odd. And I actually saw him at a Denver con, and he was, a really cool guy. And he's got his tongue slit as well. I'm like, man, I just don't know if I could sit next to you for a prolonged period of time because you sort of start to stare after a while. It's like, I know you're saying something, but I can't help that I'm staring at you.
Right. I think he's used to being stared at, though. I think at that point, you're just like, it's all white noise with the eyeballs.
And he's a huge comic book fan too, because he came by my table and he was like, "Oh man, I really love your stuff." And I was like, "Oh my god, I know." Yeah, well, I had to say, "Oh, I remember seeing you on the X-Files. I thought that was a really great episode."
That's awesome. Oh, that's right. He wasn't. God, I don't think about that show.
All right, so we are slowly coming. Damn it! That's what I said I would do. We are slowly coming together here, and
take a gander.
Keep moving that. So a little bit there, putting it in place, making it come together, making the magic happen.
Hold it up one more time. We're trying to get you on the full screen.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Look at that.
Perfect.
Drink it in, Ryan. Just drink it in. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. So all right. So you were doing the 5 issues of Superboy. Did you move to Marvel after that, or did you stay with DC for a little while longer?
I stayed with DC, and I did they had a lot of little books and a lot of little things coming out. So I did a lot of little fill-ins actually for DC. for a good 4 or 5 years. And
Nice.
ironically enough, it wasn't until Bishop that I started working for Marvel. And I really had to audition for that book too, because the editor at the time, a guy named Jason Liebig, he was he was in charge of a bunch of books, and he was starting up the series, and they were really interested in taking Bishop sort of, because at that time in 2000 the X-Men were everywhere. If you were to put Wolverine on a cover, it would sell 100,000 copies.
Right.
It was still around that time where that sort of effect was happening. And with Bishop, to their detriment, but I think also to the betterment of the book, they wanted to take Bishop outside of that whole X-Men world and put him in his own kind of little world. And who was it? Joe Harris, a writer named Joe Harris was the writer on that. And he was like, you know what I want to do? I want to basically do Bishop as a Lord of the Rings. And if you read the book, you sort of see the similarities between the Lord of the Rings. And it was taking him into a parallel dimension or something. And he then had a quest, of course, and all of these things. He had these characters, which was great for the book, in my opinion. But I think it really hurt the sales, because I think people then thought, well, you know what? If none of the other X-Men, if this book isn't tied into all the other books, then I don't need to buy this book. And I think that's what people were buying all the X-Men books, because slowly they were all tying into one another. And Bishop was the one book that wasn't tying into any of that. So I think the sales hurt it a little bit after a while. So it only went about 16, 17 issues.
Yeah. But I bet you the stories probably hold up a lot better than the other stories that were all intermingled, I would imagine, at that point.
I am so close to what I do. I never read what I do. I barely even look at what I do, to be honest with you. Sort of like an actor who says, I never go watch my performances on screen. I never really go back. I really do have to probably now I could go back and look at it with more of an objective eye. But I'm very much like this. The latest book I have out right now is Star Wars: The High Republic, #6. And I saw it on the stands, and I kind of picked it up, and I said, okay, and I just put it back because, again, I don't know if that's that insecurity all artists have or what it is, but I just couldn't really sit there and go through page by page of it to look at it. So maybe in 10 years I'll pick it up and go, oh, okay, this was actually pretty good.
Yeah. So so how did you get? Now, were you a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan before you got a book? How did that come about?
No, that's the strange thing, to be so associated with something so big at the time, and I had not the clue whatsoever. I knew of Buffy from pop culture, of course, because it's not like you don't have to see Evil Dead to know the character when you see him, but I had never watched an episode. Well, no, that's not true. I watched one episode when it was on television, and it was the episode with John Ritter in it. And I was a John Ritter fan, so I watched the episode because of him, not because of Buffy. And I thought, okay, well, this is interesting, but nothing really grabbed me at that point. And this is the part where serendipity just works its way in. I was what was I working on? Oh, I was working on a book for DC, or I'm sorry, no, it was Wildstorm at the time, because DC wasn't part of, or Wildstorm wasn't part of DC at that time. And it was called The American Way. It was a creator-owned book I did with funny enough, another writer-director, gentleman by the name of John Ridley. And that was an 8-issue series that I was doing. And unbeknownst to me, towards the end of that series, I get a email from the editor over at Dark Horse, Scott Alley. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I don't know you, and I know you don't know me, but Dark Horse publishes this book called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now, if you're aware of, but Joss Whedon, the creator of Buffy, is thinking about actually coming onto the title and writing the book. And he would very much like you to draw it. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that's nice. And the cynic in me, of course, is like, wait a minute. Yeah, no, Joss Whedon did not want me specifically. This is what an editor does to sort of sweeten the honeypot to get you to come over and do the book. And so we actually went back and forth a couple of times going, dude, I've been in the business a little while now. I know how it works. You basically use these big names thinking that I'll be impressed. And then, of course, I'll have to come and do your book. And he's like, no, seriously, this is the first time Joss is really writing anything that's Buffy related in comic books. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And finally, it came down to a point where, all right, look, if you want Joss, or if you want me to do the book, why don't you get Joss Whedon to ask me to do the book? It's only fair.
Right.
And I thought, I've already called his bluff, and that'll be that. And the very next email was Joss Whedon saying, hi, my name's Joss Whedon. I really would like you to do this book. And from there, man, I replied with so much humble pie that it just made me look sick. So long story short, from there, I actually did the book because I was just so honored that, you know, this guy, he really could have asked, well, it's funny, he could have asked anybody, but at that time, Buffy wasn't a proven property, certainly not in comic books. Yes, she had her own comic books. But funny enough, I remember trying to get a lot of people to kind of come in and do fill-ins. And at the beginning, they were very like, you know, it's not a superhero book. So, you know, I know she's a popular character, but I don't believe that that'll, you know, help me sales-wise.
Right.
And I will say to the strength of what Buffy was, and you say you're a fan, Buffy, when she came out, was consistently in the top 20 of Overstreet, or whatever the listing was at that time that they used to say what were the highest selling books. Buffy was consistently in the top 20, and she had 3 or 4 printings of issue number 1 through 3, I think. And Dark Horse had told me, you know what? We've never actually done this. We've never had a second printing, not from Hellboy, not from anything else we've ever published. This is the only thing that's actually had a huge second, third printing like it has. And I was like, man, that just shows you how popular that character is or was when it first came out, that she dominated that comic field from just being virtually in obscurity.
Yeah, that's crazy. I knew it was out there, but I didn't know it was that huge. That's like I said, I love the character. I can understand why. It was one of those things where I wasn't really doing comics at the time. If I had been, I know I would have picked it up because I like everybody else. When the show ended, what's next? You're like, you want to know what's next, you know. And then there was, I think, one more season of Angel that came the year after the Buffy ended, and then the whole thing was over. So you didn't. So the comics was just the next logical thing. So yeah, I probably I still need to go out and get that. I'm I got to pick it up because I didn't know what happened.
The first couple of issues were around the 100,000 sale mark. So it was a huge sale in a time where 30,000 was considered good. And here Buffy was doing 80 to 100,000.
Wow. And from Dark Horse too, not from when
and for Dark Horse.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, those were some nice royalty checks for a little while.
That's actually one of the first books I ever got that I collected both the A and B covers for.
Buffy?
Oh right, yeah.
Because it was
I am very proud. I'm very proud to say that I did every cover, every issue of the Buffy book of season 8 through season 8 and 9 and 11 and 12. I did every cover. I didn't do every issue, but I did every cover, and I was really proud of that.
That's awesome. Yeah, here I'll show you another one from my book. I said here's another Buffy for you.
Oh, nice.
I wish I could tell you who drew. I wish I could tell you who wrote it. I mean, who drew it, but I can't even. The signature is so obscure. I don't know who it is. It almost looks like a little heart, and I got it at a show in 2016. And
It
but
looks
I
familiar.
love it.
I wonder if this was. I think it's a girl who did a fill-in, who did a couple of fill-ins for Buffy, while the regular artist at that time was a woman by the name of Rebecca Isaac. And this woman, I could probably look it up, but I think that's her. She did a couple of fill-ins for Rebecca at the time.
Yeah, I'll have to. Like I said, I wish there's nothing. Her signature literally looks like a heart with like a reverse check to end the heart. So I can't even tell. And I wish I'd gotten her name.
Yeah, that sounds like a woman. Yeah.
Well, this is. I mean, so the next one I kept the card because I knew that I didn't have the other person's name, so I made sure for this person that I saved their card so I could know who they were. And they.
Oh, nice. Who's that?
This is Serena Guro. There, hold on, see if that's right there. This is the level artist.
Okay.
So I saved her card when she did that for me. So, and I actually only have 3 in the book. I have some free. I have like 4 or 5 that are just on paper. But I'm really going to start bringing this to cons with me again and getting it filled up. Because
I know it's weird. I do a lot of sketches, of course, in a lot of sketchbooks. And you know what's weird? I think it's been around long enough now that people like you saying, they have these books and they've had them for years now, and they've got all of these great sketches. There have actually been a couple where I've seen Jack Kirby inside, and you're like, oh my God, you got a Jack Kirby? You got him to do it at a show? He's like, yeah, this was obviously years ago, but I got a Jack Kirby to do it.
Yeah, man. That's how when I first started collecting, that's what I did. I had a book, and I would go to a show, and there'd be one guest, and I'd get that one guest to draw on my book, and it just, and that's what I did when I was, 15, 16, 17 years old. That's how I started doing it, and then, moved into other stuff, and eBay was my downfall around the year 2000 when that thing came out, because I
really
took a razor blade to that book and was just like, well, I don't care about these anymore. I'll just sell them. Who needs a who needs oh God, I couldn't even tell you all who needs a Marshall Rogers Batman sketch? Who needs that? Yeah. What an idiot
really?
I am. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh man, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah. I had no. Yeah. If I could go back and kick my own butt, I would. But, yeah. I mean, who needs a full figure Deathstroke the Terminator by Mike Zeck? With background. Who needs that?
Wow.
Really?
Oh yeah. And I love that Captain America series he did with that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
wow.
Yeah, but but now that I'm back into it, I'm a lot better about knowing if I ever let anything go, it's something I'm never going to regret. So I try to be a lot better.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to get those back. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, I actually I had a Mike Zeck Captain America that I sold in the beginning of the pandemic, and then the person I sold it to ended up getting a really, really nice one. So I contacted him and asked if he got a better one, if he would be willing to sell it back to me. That is the first piece of art that I've ever sold and actually gotten back, and that's when. That's fortunately for me, the price wasn't too much higher than I bought it for. But for any of the stuff I had when I was, 17, 18 years old, that stuff could all buy houses now. So I'm never going to see any of that stuff.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Bacon just
well, why don't we?
what's
I collect art.
Yeah. Oh, great.
I'm very. What are some of the prized collections you got there? You guys have Ken, Jeff, Jabo.
Oh, let's see, Ken. What's name your top 3 pieces in your collection, Ken? What do you call? I know I can't. You can't even narrow it down.
Yeah, are they on the wall?
I can.
Your top 3. Okay.
I have my painted Texera Ghost Rider.
Painted Mark Texera Ghost Rider. Hold on, he's gonna pull him down. Ken can do this. They're all behind him. I don't know. I couldn't. I don't know if I can really.
Oh yeah.
See, look at that beautiful thing. You can put yourself on full screen, Ken, until you're done showing.
Either George is really impressed or he's frozen.
Both. Now I'm having trouble with.
Oh, he's coming back. Hold on. Leave it up there. He's coming back. There he is. He's back. There it is.
That is not, and that's an original.
Yeah, put it on full
Yeah.
screen again, Ken. Put it on full screen.
What is that? Acrylics or watercolor?
It's acrylics.
Wow,
So, all right, so that's
that's
one. All right,
impressive.
show me number 2,
That
Ken.
is
What do you got?
impressive. You need to get a better frame for that, though. I tell you.
See, it's hard, is it? Ken, look at this whole wall now, trying to figure out what's number 2.
I think I moved
Trump.
it. I can't remember where I put it.
Trumpy, what are you looking for?
Yeah, the Trimpy.
Don't you have a wall with just the Wolverine?
Over
And
here.
just the,
Yeah. I
yeah.
moved it.
He's got a Hulk Wolverine side of his wall. There you go. Herb Trumpy, Transformation.
Oh, Herb Trimpe. Oh my gosh! Wow, that is great, and that's classic Trimp right there. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of that,
That is
90s trying to draw like Liefeld. God, I can't believe they made him change
Yeah,
his
you
style.
want to, man, you want to hear a sad story. I was doing a little show in Florida one year, and Herb was a guest there.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that the Hulk movie had just come out, so this was quite a few years ago, and I was like, oh man, I just naturally assumed that Marvel had sought him out and brought him back to do some stuff and all that, and he's like, honestly, I can't get those guys to call me back. Wow, that is really nice.
That was another text. He likes his Texiera, I gotta tell you.
Nah, is that a print or is that?
No.
Well, this is actually the prelim to a cover for Pittsburgh Comic Con. So the only thing
look at that.
missing the original is the original is done in acrylic. This is in I think it's pencil, color pencil.
So yeah, the actual cover looks pretty much exactly like this. It was just done in acrylic paint, whereas this one's in colored pencil. Yeah, but they look almost
very
identical.
nice.
The pencil pieces on this side, on the printed version, are very faded. Where on this one they're much more rendered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Is
That's
that
my top
SpongeBob
three.
SquarePants? That's supposed to be.
All right, let's see, Jablonski. You ready to show? You got a couple handy you can show off.
Well, yeah, I can pull them off the wall just like him.
There you go. All right, let's put Ryan on screen so you can show, and then this is going to end with George showing us some of his stuff. Is what I want to see.
Well, I can tell you right off, man. I've got a Michael Golden, which is one of the prized in my collection.
Oh, awesome! All right, let's see. What do you got, Jablonski? All right, show us one. Prize
you
possessions.
got a lot of great pages, I can see.
I said, so some of my favorites aren't even some of my most expensive. They're just more of like bucket list ones.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are actually new. I got a small, but I got a Adam Kubert Weapon X.
Nice. That's the
Very
late
cool.
90s one, right? With the
Yeah, well, when he lost his hand temporarily.
Yeah.
I have Art Adams Rogue.
Look at that.
Oh, nice. Man, you want to hear a tragic story? I was at his show. I've just been done so many shows, it's pathetic. And he had just done The Creature from the Black Lagoon for Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm.
And those were a little bit oversized pages, and he was selling them. And you want to tell you about a regret. I kicked myself in the ass because he was selling those for an average of about $60 a page.
Yeah.
I was so hurt I didn't pick any of those up.
We've all been there. We've all been there, man. Oof.
And then another just fun being an X-Men fan. My John Byrne.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Back
now
before,
you can't tell. You can't tell the way I draw, but I swear to God, John Byrne was my god. I thought, why couldn't he do every Marvel comic coming out? Because this guy, he could do no wrong. I thought was the comics began and ended with John Byrne back in the day. I was just so in love with his artwork, and it was pathetic.
And he was able to do so many books at once. He was just
he was saying
he was on everything.
Yeah, he was saying at some point, I remember reading, because I just read everything I could on him. He was doing like 3 pages a day. He could do 3 pages a day finished. And of course, that would leave him to do 2 or 3 books a month. He said I could do. I was like, oh my God, I could not even see doing, I couldn't even imagine finishing 3 pages in one day.
Yeah, oh my God. All right, let's see. All right, Ken, if you change the angle, I'll throw a couple up here. Let's see. Whatever I got handy. Let's see. All right, I'll start off with one. Just because I got it handy, it's right here. This is.
Oh, Ramita. Very nice.
Yeah, little John Ramita Senior. Let's see.
Yeah. That's always a good one.
Yeah, I got stuff all over the place, but I don't know. I told everybody to limit it to their top 3. I don't know if I can pick a top 3, but I'll pick top 3 that are around me. So I got this one, which is my John Buscema Punisher. So
which one? Oh, that's a Sal, is it? Or John?
That's John. Yeah, John Buscema Punisher.
Which Buscema? Oh, very cool. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, that would be the one.
See,
yeah.
That one, and then let's see if I can find one more. Let's see, one more. What do I got?
That's your Flashpoint piece?
In the back, well, a Flashpoint page in the background. I was thinking more along, stuff that's like unique versus pages. I mean, those are all my favorites. That double page splash in the background there is definitely.
Now, which one is that of? What issue?
I've got this double page splash from Flashpoint, the miniseries.
Oh yeah. I remember. From a DC, right?
Mm-hmm. So there you go. I'll bring that up.
Wow. Who was the artist there?
Andy Kubert.
Oh, Kubert. Yeah. Who was inking him? Was that John Dell?
No, it's Sandra Hope.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, she does. She's just fantastic. I think she does her best work on Andy, and I know that Paul Pelletier loves her stuff so much. He's always really jealous whenever he sees her on Andy, because she's like, all the Andy stuff she does, she's never going to do my stuff.
What do you call him? Paul Pelletier?
Paul Pelletier, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, Pelletier, yeah.
Pelletier. Oh, and then here, I'll just bring up this one. This is another one of my favorite ones. My Ron Franz.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He is, in my opinion,
nice.
Probably the most undervalued, underrated artist in comics. Because
you definitely go for the old school. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm a '90s boy, so everything I get's all it's all going to be '80s and '90s. You're going to see stuff like, I got my Paul Smith.
Oh snap! I loved. I started reading X-Men when Paul Smith came on, so I just love his stuff. Oh, he's always so good. Yeah. And not to be yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no.
So this is and I know you guys don't want to be here all night. So this, and I will finish it up, but we can definitely move on to the next one. But I will definitely fill in the blacks in this particular one.
That's so
and put a little gray tone in it. So yeah, that will be some blacks and all of that. So just so that we can jump on to the next one, maybe. So I don't keep you gentlemen all night, because I'm sure you have wives and families you want to go with.
He already met mine.
Yeah, exactly.
I did.
She's the one holding the camera. Stephen Curtis. Looks like Stephen got the claim. Sorry, Dustin. Stephen just beat you out.
George, you familiar with the X Factor? I think it's number 7. The appearance of Apocalypse, first appearance of Apocalypse.
The first appearance of Apocalypse?
Yeah. The cover.
Are you saying that's what he wants?
Oh no. He was
just. I want to show you this piece I had. I got friends to redo. I got friends to redo.
Snap. Who did that one?
Ron Franz.
John Franz. God, I haven't heard that name in a while. That is so cool. Wow. Did you ever think of getting it inked?
I might have Joe Rubenstein did the original inks. So
did he? Okay.
I may have him do a Blue Line ink and MegaCon in a couple weeks.
Oh, nice! Wow. Yeah, I know. I know Joe from shows. He actually, I was just reading something he had done I love. I don't seem to be reading anything new. Apparently, I'm going back and reading all the old stuff and did some inks on some of the old Avengers stuff.
There's not a lot
really
that Joe
was
didn't
really
hit.
actually pretty good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was definitely one of those what I say factory artists where he was there and they were using him to whatever degree they could.
Absolutely.
Now I don't have just around me. I have so I won't bore you with anything else. But this is probably my prized one.
Oh wow!
It's Michael Golden's. I think it's an Exiles book.
Yeah,
from
that's
Image.
insane.
Wow.
And this was a cover that he did. So I thought, yeah, this was pretty good. I paid for it for sure. I got it from one of the Albert Moy, who is an art dealer. And but yeah, I paid for it. And
So,
something I don't know how many of you would be familiar, but this is something I keep right next to me, and I just absolutely love. Jamie Hernandez, Love and Rockets.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's so
and yeah,
cool.
this is an original pencil that he did.
That's
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
So yeah, that's just a couple of things.
Yeah, well, that's why I said, it's so hard. It was easy for me to pick from what was around me, and I could have picked 50 other things, but it's like, that's the great thing about art is we have our favorites, then there's our favorites, then there's our favorites. It all just kind of.
And then
Yeah.
ask me 2 hours. I'll give you 3 different ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve,
So,
Well,
Steve-
this every day that I draw, this looks at me to remind me how humble I need to be as an artist. Let me see if I can. Where is it? Can you see that?
Oh, Wrightson. Oh,
Wow. Is that coming through? Yeah, that's a.
Oh, yeah.
Mind you, that's a print. That's not an original, of course, but
Oh, if that was
he
the
signed
original, oh my God.
yeah, I know, right? I would be retiring right now. Let's just put it that way.
You'd be like one of those images.
But yeah, that
You'd be fine.
reminds me, right? If ever I think I'm getting too big for my britches, that reminds me. All right, you know what? You are just here. You're not here as much as you like to think you are. You are right here.
Hey man, you're in that scale. That's the greatest thing. If Wrightson is the top of the scale, you're definitely not on the bottom.
No.
You're up. You're definitely up there in there. That's cool.
Well, I'll agree with you. I'm not on the bottom, but man, that's the exception, not the rule.
Right. Well, there are very few 11s in art, and Wrightson was definitely an 11. Yeah. So
sure.
So Steven picked a character. He said you can either do Punk Rock Storm, the Mohawk Storm, or
cool.
Or the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel Photon. Either one of those characters you want to do. He says either one.
Well, like you, I'm old school, so I was reading Paul Smith when he was doing the Punk Rock Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely, if I had a choice, that would be my choice of choice for sure.
Well, there you go. That is, you do have a choice, so I think you picked your choice. Awesome. Well, there you go.
And I'm unfortunately going to have to find reference for that because I don't know just off the top of my head what she was wearing.
Let's see. Punk,
you got something?
Let's see.
I said Ryan's probably got something hanging on the wall somewhere, right?
Storm? I don't know. There's one somewhere. Probably just not hanging.
Should I show my storm? That's not the punk rock storm, though.
Yeah, yours is not a
Which
Punk
one?
Rock Storm.
Oh, it isn't?
Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. That's what's so great about the internet.
Oh, nice. Who did that one? Was that Diodato?
No, this is Tex.
Another text.
Oh, Texiera. Wow, look at that. Man, I
And now
love his
you're banned.
pencil work. I have to say, I think I like it a little more than his inks because he has such a blend quality about him that you just can't get with inks.
I have a few pencil pieces by him, and I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lied.
Yeah,
I
he's
do have
so
some
damn
cards
good.
here.
Oh,
here
David
you-
Williams.
Oh, nice. Look at you.
There it is.
Very cool. I
Yep.
love the rain. Who did that?
Dave Williams.
Dave. Oh, of course, David. Yeah, I should know better.
That was done
Yeah.
live on
Is
one
that-
of our shows.
Yeah,
course.
yep. You were telling me.
So
There
it
you
is.
go.
A very
did
fine
talk about
acquisition.
Everyone's
There you go. I found one on the internet.
Yeah, so did I. I've actually got my. Whoops.
Let's see.
That's a cutie.
Oh yeah.
All right, but Ken, I want to thank you for having me on. I gotta go take care of the kids. It's almost bedtime.
Thanks, Ryan. I was glad you were able to come on.
Yeah,
I know you're-
please. Hey, man, it was a pleasure meeting you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I've been bugging Ken for weeks at this point, being like, "So when's it happening? When's it happening? When's it happening? When's it happening?" So it's very nice to meet you. Thank you so very much. And I'll still be here in the chat.
Thanks, Ryan.
You too.
All right, Ryan. Be good, buddy.
Yeah, maybe we'll meet at a show one day.
Oh, fingers crossed, man.
All right.
All right. So there you go. Not everybody you do a sketch for is going to come on live, because I'm pretty sure that Steven's probably in bed because he lives across the pond, and it's probably getting close to 1 o'clock in the morning his time, I think. So
Yeah, Steven hangs in there though, usually for these.
Oh God. Wow, man. And he's got grit. I'll give him that.
yeah, we've got some very loyal people who love to watch our streams, and so we almost feel like we know some of these people because we get the same 10, 15 people every week that are trying to get pieces. So, we lost George. That's all right. He'll come back on in a second. His internet's been a little in and out, but
This sums up how tired Steven is right now. He missed a T by 3 letters.
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Steven. George is back.
There he is. There he is.
Hey, sorry about that. I guess internet being what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Listen, this is not even anywhere near close to the worst problems we've had with internet on this show. So you're actually
Really?
you'd be going to the Hall of Fame right now with compared to some of the other problems we've had.
I told him. I
I
him
wonder
about
why
Andy.
that's.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's that streaming service. That's where I've never really had it be this bad. I've done a couple of streaming interviews here and there, and it's
Mhm.
never really been this bad.
No, I don't know.
Well, you're nice and smooth now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you located, George?
I am. Where am I? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. I'm in Orlando. I'm near Orlando, so we're not too far away.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I used to live in Miami, so I was up around there all the time.
Oh,
I was
nice.
actually raised in Miami.
Oh, nice.
I went on. Took my my 16-year-old daughter to Florida today to do a
In Tallahassee, not Tallahassee,
Gainesville.
Jacksonville,
Gainesville.
Yeah.
Gainesville.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
going to what? Florida University? Which one is it?
She's thinking about it. She loved it. It was a beautiful campus. So
I dated somebody who went there back in the day, so I've seen it a few times.
she's going to Miami on Wednesday.
To what? Go to U of M or just to look at other?
She's deciding what school she wants to go to. So
She's doing all her school visits. Yeah.
yeah, so she's doing. She did Florida today. She's doing Miami. She wants to see Princeton. She wants to
Oh,
go see,
well, you know, you got to tell her Dwayne Johnson went to the University of Miami, so she wouldn't be
don't
doing too bad.
Yeah, that's you got to remember that though when they say the average person at our college makes this much money who went to our school. You have to take into effect that one of those guys is a millionaire who gets $20 million a movie.
It was
That's what I
probably
always
taking
joke
up
about with-
60% of that percentage. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I always joke about when people say how much people make from like North Carolina. They're like, yeah, the average person. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Michael Jordan's in that conversation, so he accounts for like how many $1 billion of the amount of people who
Yeah,
graduated
he would
from North
probably be more
Carolina.
80%, sure, up
Yeah,
in that spectrum.
exactly. Oh my gosh.
We got jump
Oh,
time for you later.
let's see, what's this? Oh man, yeah. Some of these, so we get some pretty cool requests for sketches, but yeah,
Okay, well,
man.
here, this is, as it's starting out, this is where it's coming to.
Oh, there you go. Little Mohawk Stormy action, like it.
Mm,
Let's see where the bones
coming in.
are. But yeah, so that I think if we get if we do if you decide to do another sketch, I think if we get as many people as we got the last time, I think maybe we'll do a wheel spin, because there seemed to be a huge disparity between when everybody claimed. Like some people were claiming like that person just claimed now, so they obviously have some really slow internet.
Oh,
No, he
I'm so
said if
sorry to
time.
hear
I think
that.
he was
Yeah.
trying to be ahead of, trying to jump ahead of it.
Yeah, we used to, we used to do it, and we would just take the first person to do it. Then we started really taking into account that people's internets are not going to be as fast as others, and we felt like we didn't want anybody to be penalized. So we realized when we had several people, more than 4, who wanted to get something, it would only be fair to do a little, put them all on a wheel. We do a little electronic wheel spin, and then that way it just makes it a little bit fair. That way it's not just because then somebody who has bad internet's never going to be able to get a claim in, and it's not really their fault. So we try to make it fair for everybody.
Well, that is nice of you guys, because a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, hey, first come, first serve. Sorry.
Hey, listen,
I used to feel that always whenever I was buying concert tickets. They're like, oh, our system is so slow today. I'm like, you sons of bitches.
Yes, exactly.
I must go see MC Hammer, buy everything I've got.
Oh God, you joke. I saw MC Hammer live.
Oh, I did. Are you
That's how
kidding?
old
No,
I am.
yeah, I was big in the concert going era. So I've seen
yeah.
like the Beastie Boys, everybody from the Beastie Boys to David Bowie back then.
See, but saying the Beastie Boys and David Bowie, I don't know how you can put MC Hammer in that same conversation.
No, I think the misnomer would be Vanilla Ice, because I do feel that MC Hammer was very talented in that sense.
Sure.
But definitely, I could never see me going to a Vanilla Ice concert.
Yeah.
As I would have gone to a David Bowie I mean, I love the Beastie Boys. I thought they were just for their time. They were just raunchous and live and reckless, and it was that counterculture, the way you like your counterculture to be.
Absolutely, yeah. I live outside DC, and we used to get some really incredible concerts when I was in my 20s. I've seen a lot of really great bands. I was actually at the first ever Foo Fighters show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They performed at the 930 Club, and I got tickets before I even knew. I just knew Dave Grohl had a band, and I was like, okay, I'm in. I don't care. I'll buy the tickets. I hadn't even heard anything yet.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I had a buddy who was a huge concert guy, and we went to go see Dave Matthews in Red Rocks in Colorado. And it ended up being a very classic show. But what the funny thing was, we live in Virginia. I'm like, I lived in Richmond at the time. I'm like, why are we driving, 2,000 miles to see a band that's from 100 miles away? Because they were from Charlottesville, Virginia. So it was just kind of funny that it ended up being a really good show. I'm like, okay, it was a good show.
But was it worth the driving?
Oh, exactly. Was it worth 24 hours straight driving there and back? Yeah, I don't know. But it still was a great show.
I have a T-shirt that says "I might be old, but I saw all the cool bands."
Yeah, definitely.
I do, and I was one of those back in the day. I kept all my ticket stubs, like all my band, concert stubs.
Mm-hmm.
And all
I have an old wallet somewhere that has them all in there. I have no idea where that wallet is, but it's somewhere in a box in this house.
Yeah, and I collected shirts also for a time. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't go way back, but I have like the Jacksons Victory Tour with Michael Jackson on the cover, and Janet Jackson's first tour, and the Beastie Boys. Funny, the Beastie Boys with Run DMC when they toured with Run DMC way back in the day. So, yeah, I kept all these shirts. I still have them. I have my Madonna Like a Virgin tour.
Sure.
And that David Bowie, the Glass Spiders tour, all that. Yeah, it was really
Oh
nice.
man.
You know
Yeah.
what? You know what? My mother-in-law, she took some of my old concert shirts and then
Oh,
turned them into pillows.
and the pillows. I see. I don't know why people do that. Yes, I hear about that.
Yeah.
I would have killed her. She took my shirt.
Well, I told her
Into a
to, 'cause I
pillow.
wasn't wearing them anymore, so I didn't want to get rid of them. So
Find another use for them. There you go. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about MegaCon. If anybody's coming to MegaCon and you want to get anything signed by Larry Stroman, I got a bunch of X Factor 71s.
Now, MegaCon, that's in Orlando, right?
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't done it in a few years, but yeah, that was a good show. I really enjoyed that show.
Yeah, it's in about 2 weeks, and we're going to be down there. Ken and I, we're going to be representing 4C, and we're going to be bringing Larry Stroman with us. We're going to be bringing Bill Morrison, who is the art director for Futurama and The Simpsons, and did all those infamous Disney posters back in the late 80s and early 90s. And so he's going to be coming with us. We're bringing Alex Rigel, who just had his breakthrough book on Scumbag, and then poster artist extraordinaire Javier Avila. So we're going to be down there with the 4C, and we're bringing 4 guys with us, and we're going to have some fun. It's going to be our coming out party for live shows. So.
Yeah, tell Larry I'm still waiting for my tribe issue. Just saying.
Yeah.
He'll watch this show, so he'll hear it. You might be watching
Larry,
him.
give me my tribe. I'm still waiting for those big butt women. Come on.
Oh man, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time. But yes, Ken got he has quite a few of those books. If anybody wants to get one signed or wants to get one remarked, we're gonna be doing that. It's gonna be pretty fun. It's gonna be a fun time. I can't wait to get down there.
I'm probably going to offer it up on the 4C page before MegaCon for anybody who wants to maybe order them. But I had plenty. I got tons and tons and tons of them. I was able to find a guy who had a lot of them, so took advantage of it.
So you guys are going to have a booth then, I said.
Yes.
Yeah. We got our table assignment, and we're going to be prominently right in the main area of the Artist Alley.
But these creators won't be sitting there the whole day, right? They'll be switching out.
No, they'll all 4 be there the whole day. We have 5 tables, I think, for
Oh,
guys.
very cool. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that must have set you back.
You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing this a lot of years. Yeah, I love working the angles and the front side and the back side, and you realize what the business part of all of this is after a while.
After the stream, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
When we go off the air, remind me.
Well, 5 tables is a lot for anybody, so I totally get it.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're coming strong, man. We're not doing this half. We're trying to be big and bold. So it's going to be a good time.
Is this your first show? Is that it?
This is our first show. I mean, well, it's one. Like I said, the shows have been off for so long, and we didn't start this 4C thing until this year. So it's yeah. So it's going to be our first show. Hopefully, our first show of many. At least we have at least one more planned for this year, but I think 2022 is going to be the big coming out party. So, but this is our first big show. So,
what's the next show? Because I'm doing the Raleigh, North Carolina one next weekend.
Okay. Let's see. The week after we do MegaCon, Ken is going to be in Kansas City doing
Planet Comic-Con.
Planet.
What? When is that in September?
That's the week after MegaCon, so it's August 20th.
That's August 20th.
Because I think I'm doing Arkansas then. Yeah, I know I'm doing something over there in the Midwest somewhere.
Yeah, and then there's quite a few shows that are still coming up, but we're trying to. We want to make sure we don't stretch ourselves too thin this year, and we want to be safe, and we want to make sure everything's going well, and so we're really just kind of getting our feet wet this year with a couple shows, and then we're really going to just 2022 is going to be the year when we just start boom, 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 and get out there.
Definitely, so. I hope for sure that Heroes is on your list.
I already booked my hotel room for Heroes, so whether or not it's on our list, it's already on my list. So I'm going to be there no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, there aren't too many comic book shows left. They're all mixed, and I understand that how you have to let everything feed off of everything else.
Right.
But Heroes has remained a very good comic book show in its 20, 30 year history. I don't know how long it's been around.
It's actually this next year is going to be its 40th year.
40 years.
Yeah. Now, I would say it's not going to be its 40th show, unfortunately, because it missed 2 years for the last 2 years. But
yeah, no, I'm really good friends with Sheldon. He definitely takes care of his guests.
Yes,
So
yes, he is.
You will do very well.
Well, now I know who to call to get me in the show if I need to.
Yeah. A lot of people go there, basically art dealers and whatnot, because they know that's the show you go to for art.
Right.
Just for art, like comic art or whatever. But that's where you go. Because literally, he's got like 200 artists. So you are definitely going to find somebody you're into if you go to that particular one.
Yeah. And I always suggest, I mean, it's just the best deal in comic book conventions because it's basically $50 for the whole weekend. For you know, you're not going to find any con that's as great as this one is for that little money. You'd be lucky to find $50 a day at most conventions. So $50 gets you the whole weekend.
I haven't been to the Portland show in a while, but people tell me that's the equivalent over on the West Coast is the Portland show.
Yeah, there's actually Baltimore Comic Con is another one that's basically based on Heroes. So that's another one that's very similar.
Yeah, I've been. Well, it's been years since I've been to Baltimore, but that was another one I heard a lot of good things about. Still being comic
centric,
central.
Comic centric.
Ryan asked this was live at the MegaCon, and the answer is maybe.
Yeah, we.
That would. Well, you could do streaming. Yeah, you could walk around and just do some streaming. Actually,
look at that beautiful thing. Throw it up on there. It is. Oh wow, that's so great. Awesome. Yeah, well, it's all going to depend on how good the internet is. We have some plans. If the internet's good enough to stream, we're going to do it. It just really depends on how good the internet is because we're not going to pay them the $2,000+ for a hard line. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be very economically viable at that. But
sadly, that's the convention center that does that. The con has nothing to do with those things.
Exactly.
Oh, it hurts. It really does.
If the public Wi-Fi is strong enough, you will probably might do.
Yes.
I'll see.
Or if I can get it on my unlimited data.
Yeah.
With my Verizon, then I will stream it straight from my phone. But unfortunately, listen, it's still way better than it used to be at cons. You remember you used to have to put your phone on airplane mode because otherwise it would search for a signal while you were in the convention and it would die in like 20 minutes.
And then you would use up all of your juice just looking for a signal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You wouldn't realize you'd like pull your phone out of your pocket and it'd be like at 5% and you'd been in the con for like an hour and you'd be like, what the how did this? Yeah.
If we have internet, we're actually going to do live claims with David Williams.
Oh yeah,
Because David isn't traveling to the show, so he's just going to be available. And if somebody walks up to the table and wants a David Williams sketch, we'll pop him on an iPad, and they can sit there and chat with Dave while he sketches for him.
Nice, very nice.
We'll see. Like I said, it depends on if we have. But if we do, we're definitely going to do some sort of live stream from the con at some point. Even if it's only for a few minutes, we'll definitely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's definitely going to happen.
So George, so you said when's your first show coming?
Well, actually, I did South Carolina a couple of months ago, actually, which was really good because I think people were really just interested in getting out. I mean, I've been vaccinated, and I usually wear a mask when I go out, so I had a reasonable amount of just security that I was feeling safe. And I've got I could tell you exactly what I have because I have my list right next to me.
Please throw it out there. Let people know where you're going to be.
I am doing the Raleigh Con, the Galaxy Con, July 29th, August 1st. That's this weekend. Then I'm doing Fan Expo in Dallas in September 17th through the 19th. Spa Con in Arkansas. That's when I thought you were going to, Ken. In September 20th. So every weekend in September, I'm actually doing a show.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing Dragon Con, which I should have said that first. Dragon Con is Labor Day weekend, which is
That's in
September
Atlanta.
2nd
Mhm.
to the 6th, right? So that's an easy one for me. And you would love this, Jeff. There is a show in London. It's called the Vampire Ball. It's November 5th through the 7th, and they basically get a bunch of Buffy guests. It's just all things vampire and Buffy and Angel and other obscure vampire movies that you might have loved. And it's a very one-on-one interactive. It's basically in a hotel. It's in a hotel, yeah, and not a huge hotel. So you definitely have FaceTime with whoever it
Wow.
is you're there to see, for sure.
That's so cool. Yeah, I've actually the only person I've ever met from the Buffy was James Marsters, and he's actually going to
Yeah,
be
he's a good guy.
He is. He's going to be at MegaCon while we're down there.
He's going to really great.
Yeah, the last time I met him, it's actually kind of funny because it was years ago, and I got a picture with him on my phone, but it was an old phone, and I wasn't on the same carrier I am now, and actually the phone got stolen, so I don't even have a copy of the picture. But he also had a cold, and now you can't imagine somebody going anywhere sick. But he was at the show like a trooper, but he had no voice, so I couldn't even tell. I was just basically telling him how much I liked him, and then we got a picture, and I got it with like my daughter. And we were there, but it was just one of those things where, so I'd really like to meet him again when I can actually have him, say 2 words to me.
I'll give you your in. Tell him that Georges says hi. He'll remember me, the Buffy artist.
Yeah, there you go.
Because we were actually supposed to work together for a hot minute there. For
nice.
a while. Funny enough, I ended up working with his love interest, Drusilla, Juliet Landau, years later, who's actually become a really good friend after a while. So, yeah, definitely, if you need some sort of an in, just to go, oh, hey, by the way, Georges said he would really like to, So,
listen, I'll take any name drop I can get. Yeah.
I do that, man. I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, so-and-so, Joss asked me to tell you hello. And then here I am. I'm up front. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's unmistakable when you say, yeah, Joss said, and people are just like, what? Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, like, oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's this Facebook? I wanted to thank Georges for the Jane with the knit hat. Oh, I remember doing that. Yeah, he did for me in the Firefly Legacy edition for Cabo Lounge. Yes,
nice.
That was a nice one.
Very cool.
Actually, I can show you that one. I took a picture of that particular one. I have they have these hardcover legacy books for Firefly, much the same way they have them for Buffy. And a few of the copies that I had, on one of the blank pages, I was doing a commission. I don't know if that way.
Let's see. Maybe turn the brightness down a little bit, maybe.
Let me see. Okay. I don't know if that comes through.
Let's see. A little there. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now that's on a hardcover book. It's about 12 by 14 inches. So yeah, really nice opportunity. Every time I get a hold of one, I try to sell it, but they're hard to get. So every now and again, I'll come across one and I'll offer it up on my website.
That's so great.
So this is where we are. And again, I know we could do this all night, gentlemen, but if it's all right with you, I will finish these. And when I say finish, I mean basically just put that black in there. So unless you have more questions or you wanted to go on, I still have a page of Star Wars I have to get through tonight.
Sure,
Hopefully
yeah.
that Lucasfilm will okay and not make numerous changes, which is what I've been doing for the last couple of days, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah, we thank you for coming on and with us and doing the show tonight. It's so great talking to you. And
I can definitely see, Ken, you were saying people are on for like 4 or 5 hours. I can definitely see how that happens to be. I swear I was only going to do it for an hour. So
yeah, so we got you for an hour and a half. Easy, right? Exactly. Well, Ken, are we allowed to announce the thing you were going to announce at 9:00, or do you want to wait?
Yeah, we can do that.
So
for tomorrow, hold on. Did I put it on here?
This is about you, Georges. Hold on.
We will be opening at 9:00 tonight. We will be opening up commission list.
Oh, okay. Open list. Yeah, done 9x12. Cool. Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. So anybody who didn't get on tonight, you did not miss out. We are going to be opening this up at 9:00 tonight. So get your fingers ready. Yeah, 30 minutes.
I mean, we could hang out for another half hour if you want, but it's up to you guys. I know you guys got your lives.
No. I mean, like I said, it's completely up to you. We usually do. You know, like I said, we can sometimes go on for forever. If you want to stick around and do another one, you can. Or you just want to talk.
Well, I meant I could actually hang out here, but I would actually start to have to work on the Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
but I could still talk to you guys.
Sure. Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you wanted to.
Yeah, of course. If we're not going to bother you. Yeah, if we're not going to bother you.
Are you kidding? I mean, I'm doing this. This is what I do all day. I just sort of sit here, and I'm sure David Williams could tell you about all that. We crave to talk to people because all we do is just sit around drawing all day.
We had Aaron Lepresti on about 2 weeks ago. Was Aaron on 2 weeks ago? Right?
No, last Monday. No, 2 weeks ago. You're right. 2 weeks ago. Wait,
because we had Craig on last week.
Yeah.
And he's really good friends with David. So I had David come on, and if you get a chance, you should watch it on maybe YouTube, because David it's like a comedy routine. He was so fun. He was just tearing Aaron apart. Aaron finished the sketch and he started to sign it. And David said, "Would you write on there, 'I'm sorry'?"
He was in rare form. He had his glasses on. He was.
He had his glasses on. He was acting. It was so
hilarious.
Yeah, this is the page I'm actually having to work on today. So this is a first preview of Star Wars High Republic.
So you're gonna ink that and
Don't
everything?
tell anybody.
Sure.
Sorry.
Are you going to ink it?
Oh no! I'm just finishing up the pencils on it, and then, like I said, I've been
Carl's story, right?
I've been working with Carl's story, so this is going to be
awesome.
something that hopefully, if they okay it, which I'm hoping, I can take this and a couple of other pages. Carl lives in Atlanta, and we see each other every now and again. I was actually going to drive these pages to him tomorrow, so I was really hoping they'll say okay, and you're okay to give Carl the pages, and we're good to go, because Carl and I did. He and I also did the U.S. agent for Marvel not too long ago.
Right.
And we haven't actually divvied up the pages yet. So I said, hey, well, I'll come by. I'll give you some new pages. We can divvy up the U.S. agent pages because of that show I'm going to this weekend. So I'll actually have something to sell. So, yeah, I'm hoping all of this kind of works together before Thursday.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, that would definitely be cool. I almost want to be like, can I call dibs for that page you're doing right now?
Well, it's funny. Lucasfilms apparently has first right refusal. So anybody who works on Star Wars has to actually offer it to Lucasfilms first. And if they don't take it, they don't buy it from you, then you're allowed to sell it to somebody else.
Right.
So
and you basically, you offer it. Yeah, you offer it at the same price you would sell it to somebody else for, right? You can't be like, this is $10,000 and sell it for like $200 to somebody else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, that's crazy.
But imagine the collection they must have, because they have all that Al Williams stuff. They have all that Shaken stuff. They've got, just everything. All that. Who is it? What have you got?
Here's a Walter Simonson.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, great stuff. Oh man, they've got all of that stuff sitting there. Can you imagine? Yeah, from all of those issues. Yeah, and Walt did a couple of issues.
Yeah, and listen, the funny thing is the amount of money that represents for what would be worth it for them. It's like, a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a percent, and any of us, this would be a grail piece for any of us. But they're like, yeah, we own a multi-billion-dollar thing.
Yeah, it just goes into a file cabinet somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks like that scene from what is it, Indiana Jones, with like the giant museum where it's just labeled and put and.
No, I had the great honor of meeting. I lived out in L.A. for a couple of years, and Drew Struzan, who did all of those movie posters back in the day, he did Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, all of that. He's semi-retired, but he was having a couple of showings, and I actually got a piece from him, and I was lucky enough to buy something. They were all prints, of course, but he was signing them. And he was like, yeah, Lucas has all of that stuff. They have all of the Star Wars movie posters, all of the, you know, the 10th anniversary editions,
Right.
all
Oh
of
my
those
God.
posters they have. And the ones that they don't have, he has. They're like, well, you can't sell this. If you want it, you're going to have to keep it for yourself. So
Right.
amazing to think of all those, you know, amazing posters, and they're just sitting there going, what are you doing
Right.
with all this stuff?
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, Bill Morrison, who I work with, he's working on a beautiful movie poster style
Uh-huh.
piece of this of Star Wars, and I asked him, is it going to be for sale? And he said, well, George Lucas, it's in the contract. He gets to buy it first. If he doesn't want it, then it's for sale. But
Yep.
George,
Yep. That's
and
how
he
they
said-
do.
And George takes everything, he said. So,
Yeah, that's how they do with artwork across the board. And you know, George is he's a big art fan too. That's how he started
Mhm.
out. So I can totally, and like you said, it's a drop in the bucket for their budget. It's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. God.
for sure.
Oh wow. I gotta see if I have that Carl Story inked piece laying around here somewhere. I know I do.
Which over what?
Well, I had Keith Pollard did me a Spider-Man, and I had Carl ink it for me. And
Keith Pollard. His stuff,
yeah.
man, I don't know if you remember, he did a bunch of Planet of the Apes.
Really?
back in the day. Yeah,
he
for
did.
the-
I mean, he did. Yeah, he did tons of stuff. He did Thor. He did,
Yeah.
Spider-Man's probably what he's best known for. But
Yeah. But yeah, it's such an obscure thing. He did some Planet of the Apes for the magazine that they had back in the 70s.
I have no idea where that is. Somewhere. I have a lot of stuff I keep handy here just in case somebody brings something up. I can be like, oh, let me pull that out. Let me look and see what this is. Let me see if it's.
You can be quick on the draw.
Yeah. But apparently not too quick today. Oh, let's see.
What's that shield, Ken? Is that a Captain? Obviously, it's a Captain America shield. But what's
Captain
it from?
America. Yes, it's signed by a bunch of creators. I think you might even be on there.
Oh, really?
I think.
What show did you take that one to?
About 10.
Oh,
So
makes sense.
Stanley's in the middle, and everybody else is around it.
Let's see. I don't know where I.
Did you guys read that book yet? That Stan Lee book, The True Believer?
No, I haven't. I need to pick it up.
Mm. Yeah, I listened to it on audio, and man, it is so eye-opening.
Listen, if you ever when I met Stan at actually here, let's see. I met him at, funny enough, Heroes Con 10 years ago next year.
Yeah.
So that's where I met him, and it was kind of like it was a very interesting because I met him and then I started talking to Bob Layton. And Bob Layton was not shy about telling me about the real Stan Lee. So it kind of like tore down a little bit of tore down a little bit of that childish nostalgia of the the sort of the caricature of Stan Lee that he kind of created about himself. So I was like, I didn't even ask you to ruin my childhood. Why are you telling me all this stuff?
Well, and Bob is such an eccentric himself, so I can totally understand that.
No, I can't find that piece, but I did pull out my burn while I was back there.
Nice, She-Hulk. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then and here's that Mike Zeck Captain America.
Captain America, yeah.
That
It's funny, as much
and
as I'm a
then-
huge Byrne fan, I don't have any original stuff from him. And I was so close. I wanted to buy a fantastic, and this is the thing, and this is, I don't know if you guys are art dealers as well, but this is a very cautionary tale. You guys always treat people potentially who are going to buy stuff with a little bit of respect. Because I was looking at this one guy who was selling a Fantastic Four John Byrne. And I swear to you, we were arguing over a $50 difference of how much I wanted to pay and how much he was selling it for. And if he wasn't being such a dick, I probably would have given him the extra $50. But because he was a dick, it became a matter of principle that I didn't want to get this from somebody who was such an asshole to me. And unfortunately, to my credit, I don't have the book, but I do have my self-respect. But I don't have the page that I really did want. So And it was just, man, it just kills me. It's like, God, if you were just a little nicer, I would have just said, yeah, okay, here you go.
Yeah, listen, it gets to be a dangerous thing, especially nowadays with this stuff costs so much money now that sometimes sometimes to get the pieces you want, you have to get them from people you don't want to deal with because they're the only show in town. So you have to weigh that. How bad do I want this piece? Is it worth getting it from that person that I don't want to have to deal with? And you just have to kind of go back and forth. But like I said, I am a cautionary tale for not just not picking stuff up, but for selling stuff. That's just,
Well, that I get, because when you need money, when you need quick money, that's just a total justifiable way of doing it.
Yeah.
But when you've got it and you're selling it and and it wasn't even that. I think his personality was just of somebody he's just not a happy person. And that's what came across, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I've had a few dealings with art dealers that I, were some that I don't deal with at all anymore, and some where I've had to bite the bullet and been like, and then afterwards their attitude sort of changed a little bit, and I was like, all right, well, I'm more comfortable with this now. But like I said, if you want to deal, like you were talking about, like Albert Moyes, kind of an eccentric kind of guy. He's he's a very very unique person. I think he's when I met him in person, he was really really nice. But I had some dealings like, through email earlier in my collecting where I didn't have a very good experience at all. But after I got to meet him in person, it was a much better experience and I was happier. But there was a point where I was like, I really wanted Jim Lee, but do I really want to go through Albert? And, that's the only way you're going to get a Jim Lee is to go through Albert. So it's like, you have to figure it out.
That's what I tell people. Personality is everything, especially when you're asking $100, $1,000, $10,000 from people.
Yeah,
Ken,
but like I said,
you look like you're biting your tongue there. Like, do you have a story?
No, I'm listening.
No, Ken doesn't. I'll put my foot in my mouth. Ken will sit back there very wisely and not say anything. But like I said, I have met Albert and dealing with him in person. He was a completely great guy, and I've gotten several pieces from him, including. Let's see if we're going through other. Here's a Jim Lee Colossus.
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's
from
Jim Lee in his Art Adams phase.
This is Jim Lee in this is like 80s, like this is probably early when he was first drawing the X-Men or right before he was drawing the X-Men. So it's a very early Jim Lee
very
X-Men
cool
sketch. But but like I said, the ones that I don't deal with anymore, those art dealers, they're not even worth talking about, so I don't even bring them up. But this business has been really fun to be in. And like I said, when I was younger, like I could show you my biggest regret piece. And I love to I don't love to bring it up, but everybody else seems to love to point it out. But it's one of those things
you're
where
saying a page you could have bought, but you didn't buy.
No, this is a page that I own that for some inexplicable reason I decided to sell.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember who I sold it to, and it's whoever bought it is not in it's not shown anywhere. It's just kind of vanished from the public eye. So I have no idea.
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
But I used to own this.
Whoa! Welcome
Walter
to
Simonson.
The Rogue. Yeah.
Yeah. The first. Hold on. Let me write that. But we
hope you survive the experience. Oh yeah, that's classic.
So this is only one of two covers that Simonson ever did on the X-Men, and it happens to have, except for Wolverine, it literally has every other X-Men in it, including this is the first time Rogue.
Yeah.
And this is the first time Rogue was with the team. So I owned that cover, and I sold it. Couldn't even tell you who I sold it to. It's been so long. We're talking like late 90s. Early 2000s, somewhere in there. So
you'll be hurting on that for a while.
That's you take the tack that it's like I had that cover, it was okay. I moved it.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like it at all. No. Well, that's the thing. But see, that's the thing is why
as a little tear comes out. Yeah,
exactly. Why I probably didn't appreciate it was because at that point I was, it was early, it was late 80s, early 90s, so everything was all about Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri and Todd McFarlane and Rob. Everything was about those guys. So when you had pieces like this, and I owned Kirby pages, I owned a Frank Miller Daredevil page. Those are all huge regrets. But it's just like the significance and the provenance and the fact that I had this page, but I appreciated it, enough to buy it, but not enough to keep it. now now as you get older, you start to really know what the value of something is, and not just
Oh
how
yeah.
you might, but not just that piece in history of that piece of art. So it's just like you just kick yourself. I mean,
Yeah. There's a guy who lives here, a guy named Benno Rothschild. He's a lawyer and he's a huge art collector. And to go to his house, I kid you not. I'm sure you guys are familiar with The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller, all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He has the page where Batman is on the horse. It's the splash page,
Right.
and says, "Tonight Gotham is mine." And he's got that page. And every time I go to his place, I'm like, all right. I hope there's some security system around this.
You put on some glasses, you see like 55.
A lot of
different lights,
lasers. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you're sitting down, George, because I'm going to show you the most valuable piece I own.
Uh-oh. Okay. Who is that? Strowman?
Yeah.
Who is that? Bat Stick Man?
It's Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's exactly, yeah.
I think I'm going to start collecting this kind of stuff. I'm going to get everybody these stick figures.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's going to be
Not
our
much
mascot.
of a build up there.
He's going to be the 4C mascot. That guy.
Larry has a colored version of this.
Oh my God.
Really?
How do you color that? How do you color that?
Where would you put
the lightning in the background and all that stuff?
Oh my gosh.
That is classic.
There you go. But I still have this is the first sketch I ever got. The first piece I ever got. And it's Sal Buscema.
Sal Buscema. Wow.
That was the first. It was a free sketch he did for me back when I was 15 years old. It's the first piece of art I ever got. This started my my collecting. So I still have that. So that's never going anywhere. But it was cut out of that sketchbook that I had.
Oh, right.
So this was in an 11 by 14 sketchbook that I used to get all my sketches in, but I kept that one. So.
Yeah, and I tell people when you're doing a sketchbook like that, definitely have people start them off like the top tier. Like if you can get, whatever, an Art Adams or Kevin McGuire or whomever, do that. But there's a very good reason for that. Because once you start showing that book around to other artists, saying, hey, I'd love to get a sketch from you, inevitably they're going to go through it. And when they see that you've got, the big guys, they are going to personally want to give you something that will be better than what would probably have been just kind of okay. Because they are like, wow, my work is going into this the trove of something that's to be admired.
Right. Nobody wants to be the worst sketch in the sketchbook. Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but like I said, I have this one. I also have a small little 5x9 sketchbook that I just get free sketches in, and that one's got a few. It's probably got about 10, but these are all ones that I've had that I never really used, not religiously like I used that original one that I did use for about 2 years when I had everybody drawing it. But,
that's been an advantage for me as an artist. Because you do a lot of shows, and after a while, you meet a lot of artists, and probably the luckiest I've ever been was at an Ohio show years ago. I was there. The show wasn't really all that great. There just weren't a whole lot of people. It wasn't a huge attendance. And Jeff Darrow was there. And Jeff is one of those artists, and I've subsequently got to know him a little better after that. He's just one of those artists. He loves to doodle. Even if he's not doing anything, he'll just be sitting there and drawing. And I kid you not, I have, and it's framed and up on the wall, but he did maybe a 20 by 24 a Godzilla piece. And it was just there. Like he had just drawn it because there wasn't any real business going on.
Right.
And I walked up to him saying, hey, are you willing to sell that? And he was like, oh, okay, here, if you want it, I'll do it for like 150 if you do. And I was like, you wait right here. I will be right back.
Exactly.
And boom, snatched up a beautiful Jeff Darrow piece in my opinion, for pennies on it.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, sometimes the funnest stuff, like Walter Simonson was at a show and he was explaining to a little boy how he did his name. So he he on the they have the tablecloths that they staple to the tables that are just made of like plastic. So on the tablecloth he draws a dinosaur, and he writes his name Simonson, and then he does his signature, which is the Simonson as the Brachiosaurus, or Brontosaurus, as he'll tell you is what it was called when he was a kid. And so at the end of the show, when the show was all over, I was like, knife, boom, 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 and just cut it right off the table, and I still have it. It's literally it's Walt's name, it's a dinosaur, and then his signature right underneath it. Cut it right off the table.
It's funny you say that, because the second time I met Jeff Darrow, we were doing a show together, and we just happened to be sitting next to each other. And they had that very same setup where they have that little sort of on the table to cover it. Right. And of course, again, I told you, Jeff is just doodling. A doodler. He's doodling. So after a day of just kind of sitting there, he was doing business, but also just doodling. He had this beautiful little mural going on
the tablecloth, right?
Now, the sad part, we come back the next day and somebody had did just what you did and cut it out. But to add insult to injury, on the side that wasn't done, they just put thanks on there. And he was like so dejected. I mean, it was he understood that somebody would steal it from a very, objective point of view.
Right.
But he was like, I didn't have to be an asshole about it.
Yeah. See, I waited till the last day of the show. Mine was the show was over when I did it. I wouldn't have done that if everybody wasn't gone.
Yeah, that's what I say. If anything is left over after a show, it's up for dibs.
Right.
If you find it and you see it, it's yours. But this was only the first day, and the second day, somebody had just cut it out that night. And he was like, he had to sit there for the next 2 days with half a table, that was cut out to remind him of this. So, I just thought that was such a dick move on whoever did it,
Yeah. But that's what I said. That's why it reminded me of that when you're talking about Jeff Darrow, because I've been at shows where he just doodles all over the tablecloth and draws that. And I think he was sitting next to, God, who was he sitting next to? Like there was one where there was 3 artists on this really long, like 12-foot table, and they were all drawing on the tablecloth.
Oh, wow.
It was a Heroes Con, I think, and they ended up auctioning it off at the art auction they do every year at Heroes, because it had these like mosaic like things at each one. I don't know if Arthur Adams was sitting next to him, or I don't know if Magnolia maybe is there back in the day. I don't know who it was.
Really?
But it was like 3 really big name artists, and they were all just kind of doodling on it, and they just moved it on to, and then they auctioned it off to charity, and it ended up going for quite a bit of money. So like over $1,000, I think. It's pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Wow. See, it's those times. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time, and if you have the foresight, you go ahead and you do it. I was insane for about 15 minutes one time on that level. This wasn't at a convention, but when I was living in LA, I went to this library, and this library, I don't know how they gotten a hold of it, but as I told you, that aforementioned Drew Struzan, who does all the movie posters, they had one of his movie posters, an original. They had the original for the Wizard of Oz, not the 30s one, but the one they did with Frizuka Balk, who was the little girl in there. It's a sort of Disney reimagination.
I remember. Yeah. I remember.
They had the poster for that, and that was going for $30,000. And if you know anything about Jeff or Drew and what he does, that's actually a great price, because no less than $80,000 have I ever seen anything like that. And I was insane to think, okay, I know I can put this much on one credit card. I can put this much on another credit card. I think I have $10,000 in the bank. I wonder if I could just put it all together and buy this. And seriously, for about a half an hour, I was insane with the idea of $30,000 right there to walk away with this thing. And
listen,
I mean, again, my probably the rent and my car payment won out the day, but I still think about that piece. I don't think about that car anymore, but I think about that piece.
Yeah, listen, it's and that's the thing is, like, I even do that with that, and that's the thing is today. It's so funny how and we talk about this all the time in the art collecting world. How if you were going to get a new couch, you wouldn't just go out and buy a couch. You'd think about it, you'd research it, you'd figure out what you want, You do, and you'd have to figure out where you're going to get that money from and how you're going to. But you see a piece of art that pops up that costs $1,000, and you think it's a deal. You're just like, buy, and you just buy it. And it's that mindset difference between when you're buying art and when you're buying like a normal thing, like, like I was gonna, I'm gonna go. I need a new, whatever. I need a new TV or something. And you're like, oh no, I have to plan on it. I can't just go out and buy that. $50 for a T-shirt. That's crazy. Meanwhile, you'll drop $500 for a sketch. Without even thinking twice about it.
Well, because it's a one of a kind. I mean, you can get a bunch of couches in your life, but everything on your wall, where else? Who else has that? Who else can get that?
No, but that's
you can only pick it up in an art book.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing about it is as crazy as one of a kind as everything is you always have to tell yourself, unless it's the piece, the first book you ever opened or the first thing you ever think of, there's always going to be more art and it's always going to be original. So it's like you have to weigh, like you say you regret that piece, and then that was a really huge piece too. $30,000 back then. I mean, that's
admittedly,
crazy stuff. Yeah. But it's like, and you wrote, once again, that piece aside, because that would have been a great investment and a great deal to do. But for the most part, once you spend the money for those pieces, you do those big pieces where you put together like a couple $1,000s and you get it. And then you're like, oh, I got it. And then you're like, what's next? and that's the thing is it can be like that unless it's like the piece, the grail, the one piece that's going to, where you could let all of your other art go and this would be it. In which case, then that's the piece you should go for and mortgage the house and do everything. But if it's going to be a piece that you have to have at that moment, but then you get it and you're like, check, next, and that's when it starts to get very dangerous, especially with the price of art nowadays.
Yeah,
where you can, like I've got three pieces that I'm either paying off on a credit card or on PayPal credit or in payments right now because I couldn't turn them down, and some of them I have, some of them I'm waiting to get until I pay them off. But what happens if another piece pops up? It's like you find yourself like
I've got a guy who buys all the Buffy covers from me. He's a huge fan, and those go for a couple of $1,000. Sure. So he's very like, here, let me just let this credit card go down a little bit, and I'll definitely save that piece for me, please. I'll definitely pick that one up from you. So I'm always amazed. I'm like, hey, because these aren't necessities. These aren't things we need. Just like, and I love the quote in Dead Poet Society. Doctors, lawyers, physicians, these are noble professions and they are important for us to sustain life. But art and all of what we collect, these are the things that make life worth living. And these are the things we have to have in order to have a life. And I totally agree with that. I mean, you can see behind me, all of these books are art books or art of or something of that nature that I just had to have. I don't necessarily look at them all day, but these books enrich me and my life.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, you're pushing to the choir. I have a room full of art, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. It's just one of those things where
if you look down there, can you see down right there? Those are all artist editions. Those artist edition books. Yeah, I've got about, I don't know. Yeah, 20 of them or so down there.
Yeah.
And artist editions are about $100 to $150 a pop. So there's a couple $1,000s just sitting there that I don't need that.
But you want it.
22 of those myself.
But no, I don't regret getting it, and I cherish it every day I come to work. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I love all of my art. Like I said, nothing has ever been wasted. I've never wasted any money on anything I've gotten, no matter what its monetary value is. If it's something that I liked, that I wanted, I got it, and I'm very happy with it. But yeah, here's somebody for Fred. Fred says even grails don't quench thirst. That's right. Well, when I say that's the thing is there's grails and there's grails. Grail is one of those words in the art business that's thrown around, for getting a piece from a certain artist. But when I use the word grail, I mean like the piece. If you could have one piece out of all of the pieces, and I know about probably 3 people in the entire art collecting that I know that have that one piece that is just the piece, and
Well,
for
I think
whatever reason.
Yeah, it's the same with comic books. Everybody has that one comic that, if I could have gotten that book, that would have been my holy grail for sure.
Right. Yeah. But like I said, people, I mean, like I said, then there's Grail people, getting a piece from a Grail artist. That's one of those things. Like somebody who just gets a quick head sketch from like, say Frank Miller or something. And he just did something for TorpedoCon that honestly is some of the best work I've seen him do in 10 years. And they're they're headshots, but they're beautiful. And I've seen a lot of his work that's been not so, great over the last 10 years, but these are just gorgeous. And I'm like, to get one of those could be somebody's, I never thought I was ever going to get anything because I can't afford the really nice ones from, 20 years ago. And the new ones kind of don't really look that great. But if somebody was lucky enough to get any of the ones he did this past weekend, everyone I've seen is just gorgeous. And I'm just like, that could be somebody's grail that they never thought they were going to be able to afford to get.
Wow.
So those are, there's different levels of grail. I'm speaking of somebody who's like a McFarlane fan who ended up getting the, McFarlane 1 cover. Like that would be, that's something that's like the quintessential, the person who owns that great cover with Spider-Man in the rubble with Venom standing over him. Those are like, the top of the tip top shape, like kind of heap kind of grails. But like I said, even then, like Fred said, then you just want to get something else. You just want what's next, what's next.
You always get thirsty again.
You get thirsty, exactly.
Well, half the fun of collecting art, I think, is the chase. I think it is. I think it's the chase. I think it's achieving it. I think it's marking it off the list. I think it's getting to meet the artist sometimes, or just, all the sacrifices you have to go through to get that piece. The journey to get it is definitely all a part of the art story. And like people tell me all the time about all the art I used to own, it's, you're a part of that art's history now. You were forever long you were a caretaker of that piece of art, so you'll always have that. So I try to hold on to that, even though the part in the back of my head's like going, phooey to that. I want the art, but
Wow. And on that note, gentlemen, wow, that's a good note to go out on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, George, for if you can hang out after we end the broadcast for a minute. But thank everybody for coming out, and don't have an announcement for next week yet, but we'll have an announcement hopefully within the next day or two about who's next week. And then we're probably going to take a few weeks off because that's when we're going to hit the show circuit.
Yep, we're doing MegaCon, and I want to remind everybody, please, if you have not gotten vaccinated, get vaccinated so I can see you all at the shows. And everybody have a great night, and thank you, Georges, and thanks everybody for coming out.
You're very welcome. When is MegaCon again?
August 12th to the 15th.
12th through the 15th.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.